Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! My dad is some kind of supervisor at a company that supplies and maintains fire alarms in hotels, restaurants, and so on. I'm going to say the name for privacy reasons. In one of the hotels, client of the company, my dad is friends with the owner, so me, my family, and up to 2 friends can come to their pool without being guests at the hotel and without paying a dime. The story. As I said, it's hot at this time of the year. Almost all of the daytime, 9 AM, 9 PM, is above 30 Celsius, so I decided to go to that exact pool with my girlfriend and my best friends. So I called the owner, we were friends also along with my father, and I let him know. He said it's not a problem and we can come anytime we want. We went there about 2 PM when it's the hottest. But most awesome in the water, since it's also kind of warm. There weren't many people, the pools are separated in two. A kid's one about 90 centimeters to a meter, 35 to 39 inches, and an adult one that goes deeper by the center from 240 to 400 centimeters, 8 to 13 foot. Yeah, it's the buck cool. So in the adult one, except for the 4 of us, there is only one woman who leaves about 5 minutes after we got there. We get out things set up on the chairs and I get to the bar to get soda and snacks. I bring everything to the squad, and we all eat some, not all of it, it was sandwiches, and drink some soda. Again, not all of it. And we then went straight to the pool. Note that we didn't jump in, didn't cause any disturbance or yell at all, just going casually through the edge or the ladder. In the kids' pool, there was only one child that was with a woman that left, so no one except for us in the pool. We swam for a little, about 5 minutes when the entitled parent and kid entered the scene, and the conversation goes as follows. "Excuse me, do you mind getting out of the pool?" Me, as the most calm human being in the group, what seems to be the problem? We didn't do anything. I wanted to say this as a question and as a communicative sentence. You are taking too much space and my precious child can't swim. First of all, her precious child is about a 7-year-old boy who can't be in the adult pool. Second, this is a 30 by 50 meters long and wide pool, even though there is more than enough space. I explained that to her. "No, I want you to leave now. Come on, just leave. This is our pool. The owner is my father." The child said that and I laughed internally. I know the owner's family, believe it or not, it's not these people. No, I know the owner, and you're not his family. The mother bends down to the pool and throws water at me like a small child. My hair got wet since I hadn't gone underwater yet at that time, and she said the most stupid thing ever. "Ha ha, you're wet now. Aren't you mad?" Then I began to wonder about the meaning of my existence, as well as the existence of pools in which there is water. Me, my girlfriend, and friends were just so confused. "Okay, now out." "No thanks, I like it here." "I will go report you to the lifeguard." She goes there, tells him everything with lies of course. Note that the lifeguard heard everything firsthand, so he comes to us and whispers, "Don't worry, I'll take care of her." I heard what really happened. She was watching from a distance thinking she had won. The lifeguard tells her that we didn't do anything and there is enough space. Then he tells her, "Also, your child can be in the adult pool." "What? He is the best swimmer here. He can be wherever he wants." Then she didn't know what to do, so she screamed in harassment. "Ah, you're hitting me! Manager!" Then an employee comes. Turns out he's in charge of the pool area today. "Yes, ma'am." "He hit me." The employee, me, my girlfriend, and my 2 best friends? No, he didn't. "Liars, all of you will go to jail." The entitled parent looking at us. "Since you're rude to me, you'll give me your food and drinks for compensation." "Yeah, in your dreams." "Respect your elderly, young man." Unbelievable. The employee already called the owner. The owner arrives and tells her, "Ma'am, I'll need you to leave now." "They hit me and my child." "Yes." No, I saw everything on the security cameras. I also saw that you two are not hotel guests, neither paid at the gate. You just slipped through. The entitled parent, now knowing that there were cameras, she just left with her child. The owner apologized and told the employee to give us another set of sandwiches for free. We swam for another 15 minutes, got out and ate all of our food. End of the story? In a perfect world, yes. In this one? Definitely not. After that, we went to change into casual clothing and got off the wet swimsuits, took our belongings and left, saying thank you to the owner and the employee. As we were leaving and heading towards the parking lot, we called my mom to come and pick us up. We see the lady waiting to confront us. You stole my things and lied about everything. Give me my stuff now. She tries to get a hold of the bag I'm holding. Everyone's towels, swimming suits, and some other stuff. Literally everything we own. As a healthy, working out teen, I'm stronger than she is and didn't let her get the bag. She started screaming in harassment, without noticing that the parking lot also has cameras. Don't hit me! I am calling the police. The owner tells her, no you're not. I am doing it for lying and harassment. Apparently my girlfriend went to call the manager without me noticing. The owner tells us, kids, go, I'll take care of her. We went to my mother who was on the other end and didn't hear anything. We got into the car, dropped us at my place to hang out for a bit, and my friends left a bit later. Completely by coincidence, my dad had an appointment with the owner that day, just a bit later, to discuss an upgrade in the fire alarm system. So he told my dad about everything. When he got home, he explained that the owner told him that after we left, he called the police, and after ID and breathalyzer check, the woman was arrested for crime scene fleeing, drug distribution, being 0.1% drunk at a public place, and a lot more my father didn't bother to remember. I dealt with my manipulative, abusive aunt all of my life and finally got revenge. The players of the story are myself, late 30s, sister 3 years younger, and older sister to my mother, single mom, adopted, no blood relation to my aunt, and cousins, 3 total, 1 male and 2 females. I have good relationships with them now, mostly. My estranged father, who had been living several counties over, was pretty much out of the picture by the time my parents got their divorce when I was 9. Due to financial hardship, we were forced to live with my aunt in a nightmare household we would soon find ourselves in. My aunt married into Georgia wealth, and you can figure out what that means on your own. She had 3 kids and eventually caught her husband having an affair. It's a huge scandal. She gets the house, the kids, and a fat payout from the family attorney. This is important because my aunt didn't do a thing in her life to earn her money, her house, her lifestyle, or basically anything. She was born poor, along with my mom. In her household, she was drunk with power. Years of therapy have allowed me to recognize that certain people, when in a position of power, gets a perverse pleasure in ordering others to do their bidding. She was the strictest of authoritarians in every possible way you could imagine. Chores had to be completed by a specific time, vacuuming by 3:45 p.m., dishes by 3:55 p.m., and laundry days for my mother and us kids were Tuesday to Thursday 5:35 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. If it was still running, she would shut off the power to the 2 units. As we grew older, her own kids opted to stay with their father for full-time custody, and she had them on weekends. Even they couldn't stand her when she was in charge and in the house. As time passed, she got them less and less, opting for alternating weekends as high school activities took precedence over time with her mother. For my sister and me, the large 6-bedroom house was not ours for the taking. My mom had to pay rent for 1 bedroom as well, as that was all she could afford on her salary. We had to share a bedroom until my 2nd year of high school. All the while, there was 1 spare, unused bedroom available at all times. My aunt needed this for guests when they stayed over. Not 1 guest stayed there in the 10 years I was under that roof. Finally, the church we attended told my aunt to give up the spare bedroom so my sister could have her own room, as it was unhealthy for 2 teenagers to share a room like that. That infuriated my aunt because someone told her what to do in her own household. My sister and I got the brunt of her ass. As my mom's salary was tapped out, my sister and I had to do extra chores like mowing the lawn, trimming the shrubs, and cleaning the pool, which we could no longer use without her being outside watching us. My aunt's behavior was becoming more and more outrageous and disconnected from society. For example, she had always snapped her fingers when she wanted to get someone's attention. But it was getting far more frequent, and she would blow up in a tirade if either my sister or I didn't obey. Her own kids tried repeatedly to tell her that what she was doing was wrong, but she wouldn't listen. Eventually, they wanted nothing to do with her outside of the home. She was a tyrant there, and repeated intervention to get her to see the folly of her ways would fall on deaf ears. I snapped. All through high school, I had no confidence as a person. I was weak-willed and growing ever more distant from friends and society. I say this in all truthfulness and fear. Had circumstances continued the way they have been going, I could very well have taken a gun to myself or worse, to others around me. I was that bad. I had just graduated high school and started my first semester of community college. I'm 2 weeks into my classes attending from home when my aunt drops a bomb on me. "You owe me money for this month's rent, and the same amount for next month's rent as well. It's the 27th after all. You're an adult now. You're out of high school and working now, so you need to pay rent." The heck? I blew a gasket as I yelled back. "You can't just suddenly decide to charge me rent just because you feel like it. I need 30 days notice. I have rights." My aunt yelled at me with some nonsense excuse that she had discussed this with my mother, and it was decided that I needed to pay my own rent now. In some miraculous backbone move, of which I still have no idea how I stood up to her, I yelled right back at her, "If I'm an adult, then treat me like one and talk to me about rental agreements. I'll start paying you rent in 30 days, starting the 1st. I turned my back to her and walked away with my fists balled tight. I was furious with anger, but I walked away. My aunt saw my fists from behind and screamed bloody murder that I was going to attack her. No, I wasn't. She snapped her fingers at me repeatedly on my tail to get my attention, but I didn't turn around. I need to cool off and clear my head. As I turned the corner, she grabbed my wrist hard, yelling that, "I am not finished talking to you." I threw my still balled up fist forward, keeping with my stride. To break her grip, as I hadn't stopped my momentum. This caused her grabbing arm to slam hard into the corner of the wall that I had just turned into, and she screamed in pain. But I left the house and took off. The aftermath of that incident was that my aunt called the cops on me in an attempt to press charges. She was taken to the hospital and suffered a fractured wrist, and she was put in a cast or sling. I don't know, as I never saw it, never inquired further. Her story changed every time she told the cops what happened, while my story was spot on every time. I can still recall that moment down to the smell in the house, where I was facing, the working and non-working light bulbs and so on, forever ingrained in me. I was kicked out of the house, of course, and I couldn't visit my sister or my mom there at the house again. Fine by me, as I didn't want to see my witch aunt ever again. I was happy to meet my mother and sister at the local diner or outlet. We could be ourselves there, not hostages in our own homes. Years later, my mom wised up, got out of that abusive relationship with her sister, and moved out on her own. She got a nice temporary place, invested wisely, and with the help of the church, got help getting a place of her own. In 2009, after the housing crisis, she bought her own place, which she could never have afforded on her own prior to the market crash. But some good came out of it. She wept, knowing my sister and her family and myself could come visit anytime and stay. Over the years, I've been able to forgive my aunt, not forget, forgive. I've let go of a lot of my anger and hatred towards her that she put me through. When she has no leverage or control over us, she's a somewhat decent person for being a total witch of a person. My cousins have calmed down, heard my side of what happened those years back, and know what kind of person I am compared to what kind of person their mother is. They chose to believe me and know that I did not hit her, strike her, or beat her across the face like she continues to claim. The revenge. While I have been able to forgive my aunt for what she has done to me, I cannot forgive her for what she did to my mother. Kept her in financial hardship for a decade while she sat on a bank account full of cash or assets. Or what she did to my sister. Forced her to pay for damages because a water heater burst while my aunt and mother were away one weekend, leaving my sister at home. She didn't discover the flooded rooms for hours. My aunt's reasoning? It was her responsibility to watch the house. It is not the responsibility of the homeowner to maintain or replace a water heater before it goes. So yeah, let's leave that upfront $5,000 financial burden before the flood insurance kicks in on a 16-year-old girl. I've had little to no contact with my aunt since I was kicked out of the house nearly 2 decades ago, but I do keep in constant contact with my cousins. While I'm not going to divulge what I do for a living, I can say that I work with and for the government. I've worked so hard to get to where I am today. I'm known for being truthful, wise, and giving good advice when asked. Because of this, I often talk about finances with my cousins, all of whom are money smart and are doing well for themselves. They often relay this information to their scheming mother, who has no mind for business and investments. All that money she got from her house sale, her divorce settlement, and her previous investments is pretty much gone. I spent years planning the perfect trap, and it took a long time to prepare everything to make sure everything appeared right. I don't pretend to know the law, but I do know the regulations and laws pertaining to insider information. This is not bad. I am 100% certain of it, and if I ever go to court, I know my lawyer has a solid case in my defense. But is this a gray area? Most definitely. I let slip to my cousins about some future real estate plans near my aunt's new area of living. It may be worth a lot more because of future development taking place in the area. All of that was true and backed up by what was in a newspaper and a new construction signs that had recently appeared on Google Maps at the time. The rest was fabricated by myself and backed up by actual information I looked up on real estate websites and on projects I was working on through my work. The telephone game takes place, and a few weeks later, I presume, my aunt starts making phone calls to real estate agents trying to buy lots of land in the undeveloped bad area of her new house. Over the course of a few months to half a year, she spends $300,000 of her last remaining savings on land, hoping it will pay out when the area around it gets developed in the upcoming years. Only HUD, the government, or the city have any plans to develop in those immediate areas. In fact, analysis showed that building in those areas was poor planning that would cost the taxpayers 2 to 3 times as much as the land was not environmentally sound. It was best to build 6 miles away. This post was long overdue because it's been over 2 years since my aunt purchased land that is basically worthless. See, she won't sell that land unless she gets at least the same price she paid for it, because she's the owner of that land. I can't tell her what to do on her own land. Sweet karma strikes in a way I couldn't possibly have foreseen. My cousin informed me that the value of that land has decreased significantly because it's not environmentally sound to build anything commercial there, but it's zoned for commercial use. Currently, 3 of the 4 blocks of land she purchased are just wheat farms next to eyesore abandoned buildings or industrial complexes. Nobody can build on it, and neither does anyone want to buy it. It sucks to be her. The best part is that my cousins have absolutely no idea that I set them up for their mother to take the fall. These environmental results are relatively new and the perfect cover to explain why the project changed locations 6 miles away. Note: there seems to be some confusion as to my cousins being cheated out of their inheritance. Their father and his side of the family are still extremely wealthy, and each of my cousins is financially independent.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.